Where to start? Oh, I know. We'll begin with our process flow diagram. This section will cover our process flow diagram, our mass balances, and the beans we used. We started with 69 grams of Peru beans and 6 grams of Ethiopia beans. We roasted these together in the popcorn roaster for a total of 10 minutes. Our goal here was to get at least 60 grams of roasted beans, so we can make a final brew with a brew ratio of 20, 1200 grams of water divided by 60 grams of beans. We roasted the beans for 10 minutes because we wanted a somewhat darker roast, and we used the popcorn roaster because it was the most energy efficient option. Out of our 75 grams of beans, we got 63.1 grams of roasted beans, and 11.9 grams turned into chaff and volatile gases. In storage, a minuscule amount of mass was lost to VOCs. We ground 60 grams of our roasted beans at a grind size of 15, and then divided the grounds equally between 4 drippers along with 300 grams of water per dripper, totaling in 1200 grams of water with 60 grams of coffee beans. We let the coffee extract for 6 minutes and ended up with 1041.9 grams of brewed coffee. The rest of the water either evaporated or was absorbed into the spent coffee grounds. The spent grounds plus the leftover water equaled 218.1 grams. Now we'll move on to our energy usage. We roasted our beans for 10 minutes in the popcorn roaster, which used up 0.17 kilowatt hours. We heated up 1200 grams of water to 96 degrees Celsius, which used up 0.11 kilowatt hours. The energy used to grind our beans is so small that it did not register on our instruments, so we did not include it. In total, our brew used 0.28 kilowatt hours. In our last infographic, we will show our brew's TDS and percent extraction. Our final brew's TDS was 1.06%, and our percent extraction was 18.41%. Time for sensory evaluations. Right after brewing, our coffee smelled very rich and smoky, but it was very bitter tasting, even slightly burnt. It was most bitter when it was fresh and hot, but as it cooled down, it got less bitter and tasted the best when left in an open cup for a minute or two. Surprisingly, the taste was not acidic at all at any point, and even when at room temperature or colder, it was one of the least sour coffees we had tried in a long time. Relative to the contest, we found our coffee to be the best tasting. In terms of taste, our coffee seemed to be the only one that was not a light roast. It tasted the least acidic and the least sour. In this scoring graph, our coffee is label C, lot name 1, which is the 4th row on the list. While we scored it high in flavor and acidity, our bitterness led to the lowest score for aftertaste. In the future, we would place more emphasis on energy usage and care less about the overall taste. Since taste is largely subjective, it is very hard to cater to everyone. In contrast, energy usage is something we can easily control. In hindsight, even with a focus on balancing taste and energy, we may have uselessly wasted a small amount of energy on heating the water. We may have been able to heat the water to a lower temperature, use less energy, and still retain the taste we were striving for. If we were to redo the competition, we would heat the water to a much lower temperature, around 90 degrees Celsius, and only roast the beans in the popcorn roaster for as long as we have to. Our coffee may be sour, but some people may still score it relatively high, and we would have a much higher total score due to our low energy usage. That concludes our video project. Thank you for watching and for teaching us about the design of coffee. It was a lot of fun, and we're excited to go forward and brew even more.